Mr. Czarnecki, it is nice to see you here in Armenia. I know you have been here for a number of times, but this is the first time that you are here as a European Parliament Vice President. Can you tell us in a couple of words what the purpose of the visit has been and whom you have met and what questions you have talked about?
Well, it's my great pleasure to be here because I am in a very historical country with very long history, sometimes tragic history. I'm historian and I know that Armenia is the integral part of European culture, of European heritage, European civilization. And very important for Europe because Armenia is the oldest Christian state in the world. But obviously we can speak about the history many hours, but main purpose of my visit here is political. I'm first time in Armenia as Vice President of the European Parliament, but you're right. I was in your country, for example, last year 3 times. Obviously, main subject of our conversation with Mr. President Sarkisian, with Minister of Foreign Affairs Nalbandian, and also new Speaker of Armenian Parliament, and representatives of every political parties in your country. Well, our bilateral relations between European Union and Armenia, we respect the choice of Armenia, the access to customs union. It is sovereign decision of Erevan. Very frankly speaking, I'm not a diplomat. It was difficult for us because you remember we had very long and very effective negotiations, and for the end of this negotiation we get the message that Armenia has resigned from this direction. Its life. I hope that in the future, step by step, Armenia will be closer and closer to political Europe. I can say political Europe because I can repeat, Armenia is the part of European history and European culture.
And what is the future of the relations between EU and Armenia as a member of the Eurasian Union? And how are the relations going to continue from now on?
Well, we cannot close the door for Armenia because we want to continue the dialogue. We propose very concrete platforms of this dialogue, of this cooperation. I think now maybe more political than economical, but I think in the close future we can also speak about our economic cooperation, especially, truly speaking, the situation of Armenian economy is not so good. Your economy depends on Russian economy. Russia is in very difficult situation now, and I think best solution for Armenia, in my opinion, I'm not advisor of Mr. Sarkisian, but it's my private opinion, is the balance of power. Armenia should try cooperate with Russia, but also try cooperate with EU. I think for long future, the European direction, European way, European track is the best way for your country.
Well, as we know, Armenia has been engaged in various formats in the cooperation with the European Union, one of which is the Eastern Partnership. And is anything going to change in this respect, or is it going to continue the way it started?
Well, very good question, especially if you ask me, because I am, it's my second hat. I am also Vice President of Parliamentary Assembly of Euronest since 2009, and I can say that Euronest is a very neat formula for us. We should remember that next March 2015, will be the summit of Euronest in Yerevan, in your country. It's a pity without Azerbaijan. I've heard about it. Well, I remember the summit of Euronest in Baku, in Azerbaijan, and with presence of your delegation. Some observers say that Euronest is weaker than 2 or 3 years ago. I cannot agree with this statement, because we can see few groups inside of Euronest. For example, Ukraine and Moldova and Georgia 2 days ago officially accept special agreement with EU. Armenia has resigned. Azerbaijan has a neutral position, and Belarus is also completely another subject of conversation in this issue. Finally, we should use this formula. It's important for both sides, because, very frankly speaking, for example, many politicians from France, from UK, United Kingdom, from Germany, from other countries, prefer rather EU relations with, for example, Africa, Maghreb, etc. For us, I'm from Poland, for my region, the relations with South Caucasus or with Ukraine, Moldova, Belarus are very, very important.
The post-Soviet countries.
Yes.
Yes. And what is going to be the agenda of the session that's going to take place in Yerevan in March? What questions are going to be discussed? It's already clear.
Obviously, the future of Euronest. But we have 3 months for last discussion, internal discussion in Euronest, and we should work for positive final document. We should show the common way for our countries, for 28 of EU members and 5 or 6, the problem of Belarus, members of Euronest, and I think we find good common solution.
Okay, and is the explanation of Azerbaijan why it is not going to be present at the session understandable?
Well, I told you that we respect your choice and your decision of accession to customs unions, and we respect the decision of Azerbaijan of probably absence in Yerevan. But if you ask me, it's good or bad, I think it's bad. I am skeptical to be absent when we will decide about very important matters for this region.
And number of European officials, among them President of France, François Hollande, and Latvian Foreign Minister and others, have recently spoken about the need to have a new format, a special association agreement between Armenia and EU. Do you think this is a general EU, a view of the EU, or and do you think this is something that can actually happen?
Well, the statement of Latvia is important because this country, since 1st of January, will chairmanship in Council of European Council, and France is very important playmaker in European Union. I think we should discuss about every potential forms of cooperation, but my general point of view and point of view also Mr. Martin Schulz, the President of the European Parliament, is very clear. We are very open for every form of cooperation with Armenia because we want really good relations with this country despite your decision.
Makes sense. And in one of your articles I was reading, you said that the Game of the Caucasus actually takes place in the triangle USA, Russia and EU. From this perspective, how do you envision the future of this triangle and the place of Armenia depending on this future?
Well, I see that you read good articles. Obviously, I should propose probably a little bit larger circle, because obviously Iran and Turkey in this region has very important interest. By the way, I think the last information about interesting close relations between Armenia and Iran, it's a real interesting factor because I'm a historian, and you know better than me probably that in the history relations between Armenia and Persia were very difficult, very often tragic, and if despite the history, Erevan and Tehran now find a good platform for cooperation, I think the hope for example, maybe in the future, it's your decision and decision of Ankara, maybe for the potential cooperation between Armenia and Turkey. Maybe it's the thinking for long term, but the good example, the hostility and now potential cooperation between Armenia and Iran is the very good example of our potential hope. I think, shortly speaking, United States in the second term of Obama presidency back to the role of playmaker in Europe and also in post-Soviet Asia and also in this region. Russia won't be empire very much, but the economic situation of Russia is weaker and weaker. It's very good for Armenia, many possibilities of cooperation, not only with Moscow, but also with Tehran, with European Union and other partners. I think you cannot buy the one-way ticket to Moscow and that's it, because it will be bad for your national interest. It's my opinion. Probably it's one-way ticket here.
And
Obviously, I respect your geopolitical situation,
yes.
and your situation is, I'm sure, different than the situation of Georgia, for example, or the situation of some other countries like Moldova. But I think you should find own way and try. I can repeat, balance of power. It will be very useful for your national interest for long term.
Well, 2 days ago, the European Parliament ratified the association agreement for Georgia, and yesterday the Armenia and the Kazakh Parliament and Belarus Parliament ratified the accession of Armenia to Eurasian Union. So, as members of different blocs, how do you see the future cooperation between Armenia and Georgia?
Well, international policies is sometimes more interesting than football. It's the special match. One goal for EU side, one goal for Eastern Bloc, Russian Bloc. Well, obviously it's not subject of laughing, but Russia create new political and economical bloc. But Russia is still a very important playmaker, but for economic reasons absolutely weaker than a few years ago. And I think the future will be for enlargement of European Union, step by step, maybe not too fast enlargement, but I think if you ask the citizen of Armenia, probably the vision of very close relations and possibility of work, for example, in EU countries can be very positive, positive picture, more positive than too close cooperation with Moscow.
In October 2014, this year, the first Nagorno Karabakh group was formed in the European Parliament. The aim of the group is to facilitate ties between Nagorno Karabakh and European Parliament and parliamentarians. And the question is, what is the framework and the legal framework as well, based on which the group was formed, and what are the functions of the group?
Well, it's a very good question, but not to me, because it's not my job description, not my portfolio in European Parliament. I can say that our official statement is that we are very patient, waiting for the results of activity of Minsk Group, and I hope that this triangle, United States, France and Russia, will be not Bermuda Triangle, and we hope that if the results of activity, this formula, this political structure, which is supported by European Union, will be good.
A couple of questions more, is that okay?
Absolutely, I'm very open.
Well, as we know, many countries of the European Union have energy cooperation and energy projects with Azerbaijan, which are currently developing. And the second part of this is that Azerbaijan uses the revenues from these energy projects to enhance its military budget, and does not conceal the fact that it's going to one day start a war against Karabakh and Armenia. And my question as a citizen of Armenia is whether EU or European structures are concerned about about empowering Azerbaijan militarily, and whether it is possible to restrict Azerbaijan from buying weapons by the money it gets from European countries.
Well, I am very proud that I am a representative of European Parliament, European Union here in Armenia, and I'm not responsible. I'm not responsible for the politics of some EU countries, and obviously energy security is very important for EU, but still we have no one EU politic in this issue, and I can speak with you about every details of EU policy, but the export of weapons, for example, or the cooperation in energy sector is still not the subject of responsibility of European Union. It's still the problem of sovereign states of EU members.
But another related question has to do with European Parliament, because as you know, after the elections in Azerbaijan, the question of caviar diplomacy has become more prominent, and I wonder if any measures are being taken in the European Parliament against this practice of Azerbaijan.
Well, I was twice in Armenia as observer of election here, both presidential election, but I never been in Azerbaijan as observer of election in those countries. I know that paradoxically the opinion of European Parliament delegation to Azerbaijan for observation of election was positive about this election, but the final statement, final resolution of European Parliament was less positive, diplomatically speaking. I think this gap between the statement of delegation, our delegation to Azerbaijan, and statement of whole Parliament was a very good example that we should unify our politics inside of European Parliament.
Thank you very much for your answers, and we hope to see you again in Armenia in future.
Yes, I will be on the march because for European Union this summit of Euronest will be very important, and I hope it will be only one of the reasons of my presence here.
Well, thank you, and we will look forward to seeing you.
Thank you much indeed, and I would like wish your nation a very good prosperity, and I hope in the future closer and closer cooperation with EU. We are very open.
Thank you.
My pleasure.